Good morning. Good morning, Phil. Good morning. Hello, everybody. Mr. Bascom. Happy Lunar New Year. It's the Chinese New Year, apparently, and New York City schools are off today. So I'm off today. So I'm home. And I'm an early riser, so I've been doing stuff. I'm sure you can hear me. I'm just turning off this light because it's glaring into the computer there. It's not my man cave, my office. Sometimes I work from my man cave. I'm a little lucky. I got a nice little space to work in here. So bear with me as I alter my settings. Normally, um, I'm in the man cave when I do these things. Let's see if anyone pops up. It's early in the morning, apparently, for young people. They think this is an ungodly hour, and it is not an ungodly hour. It is a godly hour. It's 10:45 in the morning, and hoping somebody shows up. Let's see. Hello, the birthday girl, Isabella. See, you didn't think I knew, but I knew. I was actually planning on sending you a little message, but I was also hoping maybe you'd pop in here. Sometimes you do that. So happy birthday, Isabella. How old are you now? Hello. She's not going to tell me. She doesn't want anyone to know because she's getting old. She's got gray hairs and wrinkles, just like me. I think Isabella, I'm guessing, is 22. Thank you. I try. Let me see. Does my head look too big in this picture since you're there? I wish I could do this live. 22. 22 is a great age. You're plus one on the legal side as far as going out to places. LOL. It's a good age. You're not a baby anymore. Well, to me, you're a baby because I'm ancient, but you know, you're official. You're valid, as the kids say. You're pushing P, as the kids say. Let's see if anyone else shows up in here. All right. Do. Yeah, I woke up the same time as always, so we'll see how it goes. How's life? You're at what are you? Healthy Fresh, right? That's where you're working right now. Hey, Victoria. Good morning, Victoria T. You going to Spelman next year, Victoria? I know your sister went there. Are you going there? Yeah. Nah, it's not bittersweet. Those are good years. Good morning, Vic. Yeah, I said hi to you, Victoria. Hello, Victoria. Um, I'm doing okay here. Um, I slept a little bit later than I normally do, but it's still pretty early. I did some schoolwork. I did put up some things for the eighth graders, so I'm going to talk to them if they ever show up. I doubt they will. This year's eighth grade is especially sleepy, so we'll see if anyone shows up. For me, just a few things I'm going to talk about here since I'm going to put this on my classroom page, not my classroom page, on my YouTube channel anyway. Subscribe, by the way, get friends to subscribe, even the two of you that are here right now, Victoria and Liz. Um, I am now the new defensive coordinator at Lehman High School, at Herbert H. Lehman High School. I was at Columbus for the last 3 years, and I had a good time there, but for a variety of reasons, I felt like it was time to move on. And Lehman has a really renowned program, and they had a tough year last year, but generally speaking, they're always one of the better teams in the city. And this is a challenge for me, an opportunity to get better at this coaching thing. It's still close to where I work at DNA, so that allows me to get there pretty quickly after school in the fall next year. So I'm pretty excited about that. Um, I really get along with the head coach, Coach Joe Houghton, and I'm actually going there Thursday. So um, maybe I'll meet some of the players. I know at least one former student of mine is there, Robert Texador. So I'm hoping that I'll get to see him, and we'll see how it goes. I'm looking forward to it. Um, I felt a little bad leaving Columbus in that I've been there for 3 years, and the 2 years we played, we got a lot better than they had been in the past, and I take some pride in that. Like I had something to do with that success. I think we took a team that hadn't literally won a game in years, and was getting blown out 40-0, 50-0 every week. And my first year there, we put in some organization and discipline and structure and pride, and we did what we call change the culture. And we went from being a winless team to a team that went 5-4, that won more games than it lost, and made the playoffs. Then COVID hit the year after that, so we didn't play in 2020, which stunk. But I kept contact with those guys and uh, kept trying to help them as best I could from, you know, the COVID remote setting. And then from there, when 2021 started, we we had a new focus. Like, let's get better. Let's prove that last year wasn't a fluke. You know, and you know, we did something. We went 6-1. We won our we I'd say we won our division. It wasn't an official thing, but the group of teams that we were immersed with, we dominated them, made the playoffs. We lost in the playoffs, but we lost in the playoffs to a team that we shouldn't have been playing yet. The way the conferences were set up, it was very weird. So I was very proud to make the playoffs 2 years in a row. But there was a lot of issues, let's say, at Columbus, and it was time for me to move on. So I did. I looked around. I was hoping to find something closer to home, and that didn't work out. I looked around a little bit up here in points north of the Bronx, and I probably would have had to take a pay cut, which I didn't want to do. You know, I have a family. I got to take care of them. I got to make sure everyone's covered. And so then I decided, hello, Eli. So then I decided, instead of to continue looking north, let's see what's in the Bronx. And the coach from Lehman and we met last summer, and we corresponded over that time, and we see a lot of things in common. So I think it's going to be a really good combination of his skills and my skills and his staff and all of us working together to restore Lehman back to its greatness. That's the plan. So I'm looking forward to it. Pretty excited on a personal level. You know, usually I talk more about school stuff here, but for me, it's like I love coaching football, and I'd considered even taking the year off so I could watch Dallas as he goes to JV, because he's getting really good and he's taking it very seriously and he's been working out a lot. Um, but I'd get bored. I know it. You know, his games are once a week. You know, I'm not going to go to his practices. I don't want to be that dad that's at every practice where I almost become a distraction. I think the football thing's his own thing for the first time now that he's 14, almost 15. He's man size. He's my height already, you know, and he's doing such a great job as a student, as a person. So I don't want to get in his way, you know. But I do want to be at his games. So I don't know how much I'll be able to do that doing this, but he understands. We talk about everything. Hello, Peter. So anyway, that's been me babbling on. I'm hoping some other people show up, but I think again it's kind of early in the morning, so I'm just more talking for me. I kind of like hear my own voice. I feel like I have some good things to share with you guys and talk about. So that's kind of what I'm doing now. So hopefully, as people come on, I'll give you the shout out, and maybe people will watch it after. I really want you guys to subscribe. Those of you that are here now, if you can subscribe, that would be great. Um, we're over 400 subscribers now, which is awesome. Once I get to 500, I don't have to be at a device, at a laptop anymore, a computer. I can be more mobile. I can do it from my phone, my iPad. I can do it outside. Um, I have a MacBook Air, so it's awesome. So I can do it almost any place now anyway. But I just think that would be a big uh, step to get to 500 people, and that's what I'm headed for. So, um, for my current students, they're off today. You guys are off today, so if you watch this later, please check classroom pages, check pupil path, get current. Um, one of the things I do want to talk about, though, is it is February 1st. It is African American History Month, and it's a month that sometimes gets looked over as just, yeah, that's something we did in school and that was it. Or, you know, some of the more, let's say, less racially sensitive people in this country sometimes look at it like, well, what about white people history? As a history teacher, most of the history that we learn is told from the standpoint of the exploits of older, rich white men, either presidents or generals or business leaders. And nothing wrong with that. I mean, those people did those things that they did, and it affected our country positively, you know. But there's more to history than them, you know. And for a long time, their stories weren't being told. Now, the last several years, for the younger people here, which is pretty much all of you, um, you've heard more of that. In the last 20 years, teaching has really changed tremendously, where there's extra effort made to talk about people of color and women and people of different uh, sexualities. And I think that's fantastic. But African American history in particular, that was a story that was intentionally withheld for a really long time. So I think it's important that for this month, you as young people, go and find out what's out there. and not just about, you know, celebrities. It can't just be a basketball player or a rapper or an actor. They're important too, but there's more to being an American success story than being famous. So um, I did create an assignment for my eighth graders. I hope they go and check it out. But that's all. I don't want to go on too much about it. Um, I think it's important and it gets overlooked. And I know me as a history teacher, sometimes I overlook it. Sometimes it's sort of let's focus on the presidents and let's focus on the battles. And I love that stuff. And my students over the years seem to like that stuff. But sometimes for myself, I got to pull back and say, wait a minute, am I talking in a way that represents the whole spectrum of American history? Am I talking about from a woman's perspective, from poor people's perspective, from people of color's perspective, from different religions and backgrounds perspective? And again, a lot of history, because of sexism or homophobia or racism or prejudice or whatever it might be, a lot of the heroes of history have been in the past white men, and we shouldn't. There's nothing wrong with that, that those people did what they did, and not as white people, but as Americans. But I do feel like it's important that we kind of talk about uh, other people as well. So this is me babbling on, but I just feel like that's really important. I did put up, like I said, an assignment for my eighth graders to kind of look a little more deeply at some of the heroes of our history, uh, in African American history, and not just necessarily Martin Luther King and Rosa Parks and Jackie Robinson. They're hugely important. They're iconic, but there's sometimes people get overlooked. Sometimes we don't talk as much about Nate Turner or W.E.B. Du Bois or Ida Wells, and I think they shouldn't be overlooked. They're monstrous people in history, and maybe at some point in my class, I know we'll talk about them a bit, but maybe even here in this forum, I could talk about it a bit. I don't know. It depends what my audience says. Right now, my audience is three people. I guess it's too early in the morning, but I wanted to say what I said, so I did. Anyway, people. Um, all right. Well, you know, it feels weird talking to myself. It's almost like in my class this year, my eighth graders in particular. Sometimes um, they don't participate as much as I'd like. I think I have individual students that do it a lot. Shout out to some of those kids that do that. Like I have Jezebel who talks a great deal, Nora, or um, those are two of the more prominent names that pop in. 802 as a class, they do participate a little bit more. I kind of my three classes, they're the most active in discussion, I think. So shout out to them if they ever watch this. Um, but sometimes I feel like I'm talking to an empty room. I just kind of people are watching me, and then because they're wearing a mask, all I'm seeing are eyes, so I can't see smiles or nods the same way, or people whispering to the person next to them if they agree with something, and that stinks. But it is what it is. Hopefully, the mask thing starts to fade as COVID becomes more handleable, like it seems to be happening now. You know, but so talking like this feels like that I got to figure out a way to do this. I know on like Instagram, you can do Instagram live chats. You could see people, but it's not the same for me either. That just feels like something like, to be honest, younger people do, like kids do. So I'm not ready to do that yet. Anyway, all right, guys. If no one's popping in, it looks like no one is. I'm gonna go and see who is here. Isabel, I don't know if you're still here. You're probably working, so you were just probably checking in. All right, now nobody's here. No one good. So I'm gonna bail. Subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. Eighth graders, seventh graders, current kids, do your work, check pupil path. Former students that are in high school, do your work. Hey, Maribel, how are you? Check that stuff up. And those of you that finished high school, if you're working, keep working. Don't be lazy. If you're at college, study. Don't just drink all day. If you're in the military, thank you for your service. Do that service right. Yeah, I hope to hear from you guys. I'm gonna type my email and the address here. I'll put it probably in the notes. Hey, Yandel. But I like to hear from former students as well, hear how they're doing. So either in the comments to this video on my YouTube channel or at socialstudiesbascom@gmail.com, I would love to hear from you. Peter, what did you learn about last week? The curse that William Harrison had. That I don't know. Tell me about it, Peter. I've never heard of that. So, but as Peter's typing that up, hopefully and giving me something to talk about. I want to hear from my older students, whether I had you last year or 10 years ago, 20 years ago, more than that even, because I'm ancient. I would love to hear from you guys. Peter, really quickly, I need to know what you're talking about before I end this. He killed many Native Americans. Well, he probably wasn't alone. We know Andrew Jackson fought Native Americans. We know that and was openly hostile to them during his presidency. But one of the leaders made a curse. All right. Well, I'd like to know about that curse. In fact, while I'm talking to you, let's see if I can Google quickly. William Harrison curse. Let's see what pops up. The curse of Tippecanoe. Ah, okay. So because he'd fought in the Battle of Tippecanoe, a curse had been placed on him. Okay. I think I heard about that at one point. I don't know how, you know, legitimate that is. Some people believe in things like that. Some people are like me and don't entirely believe in those things like that. But I don't doubt it. But I don't. Well, now we're getting the presidents every year that are elected in the last year. That's everybody dies, by the way. But Ronald Reagan didn't die. I can think of other presidents elected in 1940. With a zero at the end that didn't die. So I mean, some did, but not all of them did. So I don't know about all that. Hey, Lauren, how are you? Purple hair. Purple hair. Purple hair. I didn't say that. I didn't sing online. That'd be embarrassing. So, but Peter, very cool that you're going and finding out more stuff, even if it's more mythological, let's say, than fact based. But that's okay, as long as it keeps you engaged. That's kind of my goal always. You guys that have been in my class know this. I don't want you bored. All right. How are you in Spanish class right now, dude? You can't be in it. No, 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 no. You're gonna get me in trouble. Then you're gonna be watching my old social studies teacher. That's not cool. It's 11 o'clock. How you eating lunch already? Although I'm about to eat lunch myself, so who am I to talk? All right, people. I'm gonna bail. Be good. And you know what I think? I might make this into a podcast so people can listen to it as well as watch it. I hope you guys listen to podcasts. I don't even know. But I'm a bail. I'll talk to you guys soon. Be good.